And thank you for joining us. I'm Phil Anaya. We have new information tonight about a high-speed chase that ended with a rollover crash, killing at least 5 undocumented immigrants. Take a look at this. This was the scene earlier today in Dimmitt County. Chopper 5 shows what was left after a Suburban packed with undocumented immigrants crashed and rolled following that high-speed chase. Now, it all happened around noon today in Big Wells, which is about 100 miles southwest of San Antonio. And tonight we're hearing from a nurse who says she was one of the first witnesses at the scene. She tried to rescue passengers ejected from the truck. Eyewitness News reporter Adi Guajardo is live in our digital center. Adi, at this point, do we know what led up to all of this?
We do have some answers to that question, Phil. We just learned from officials that Border Patrol agents pursued this truck because they believed it was part of a 3-vehicle smuggling crime. Now, earlier they had stopped 2 other vehicles and made arrests. But when they attempted to stop this truck with the help of county deputies, it ended in this deadly crash, unfolding right before the eyes of this nurse who says she had to force herself to hold back those tears and jump into action.
There was a big dust of dirt in the air, and as soon as it settled, I just saw all the bodies.
A terrifying scene Amelia Flores says she knew needed her help.
They were just asking for help. Help me. I hurt, and it was just chaotic.
The nurse says she quickly jumped into action.
Checked his pulse, had a weak pulse, started doing CPR. I could feel fractures, ribs, everything.
She says she performed CPR on 3 victims. Dimmitt County Sheriff Marion Boyd told us the high-speed chase reached speeds of up to 100 miles an hour and ended in a rollover accident that happened off Highway 85 just after 11 this morning. Deputies say 14 people were inside the truck, 2 U.S. citizens, the driver and the passenger, and 12 undocumented immigrants. 5 people died in the crash. Those injured were transported to a hospital in San Antonio and a hospital in Carrizo Springs.
The 2 females, it was a mother and daughter. And all she wanted to do was be with her daughter. And I just told them they're going to take care of her.
Very tragic scene. Now, the county sheriff tells me the passenger was taken into custody, and they also say they plan to take action against the driver and the passenger, bringing state and federal charges against them. Now, ICE spokesperson did confirm Homeland Security Investigations is working on a suspected human smuggling crime. Now, Flores tells me the 3 lives she did perform CPR did not make it. Now, I asked her why she stopped to help. She says it's simple. They're human and needed her help. Back to you, Phil.
All right, Eddie, thank you for that. Of course, aside from that Good Samaritan you just heard from, several agencies rushed to help victims in the crash. So take a listen to what that sounded like.
Just to confirm, we've got about 12 patients, and they all need to be either flown or taken by ambulance. How many ambulances do you have en route, and how many helicopters have you been able to get a hold of?
I have 2 medics en route. Also, I have 5 choppers in the air.
As we mentioned, several other people were injured in that crash, some of them flown to a hospital in Carrizo Springs and some flown here to San Antonio. Eyewitness News reporter Leah Durai is live at SAMC tonight. So, Leah, what are hospital officials there saying?
Yeah, what we know tonight is that 6 people were flown here to the San Antonio Military Medical Center. Staff on duty right now, obviously very busy at the moment and not able to give us specifics as to their conditions this evening. But the Dimmitt County Sheriff Marion Boyd was informed that one of those patients was pronounced dead after arriving here in San Antonio. He was also very concerned about the poor condition of another specific patient. Now, 4 more of those involved in the crash were taken to the Dimmitt Regional Hospital. That's in Carrizo Springs, much closer to the crash site. Staff there also very busy, and we're expected a condition update a little bit later on. Officials at the scene of the crash mentioned that the group was mostly men, but there were 2 women there. As for those hospitalized, we have not been able to specify their genders just yet. As for the first responders who were involved in this case, they are all okay tonight. The Dimmitt County Sheriff's deputy who was involved in that final portion of the chase was not involved with the crash, so they are doing well. Reporting live at SAMC, Leah Durai, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.